Okay, so I believe I can start. So if you have any problem or you are not ready, just stop me and I will start later. By the way, during the configuration, I need to introduce this matter before starting. During the configuration, I've been talking with the technician and we realized that you need to use the recording application from more than one client. We realized that our management of licenses um, was limiting this kind of configuration. So we are already working to improve it. And in the really soonest future, you will have two ingest servers, so where you are having 8 SDI input for each server, and you will be able to connect to those servers for all the 4 ingest client. This is was what you initially requested, and we are going to apply it soon, as soon as the developing team release the new version with this kind of management. I'm saying this because currently we need to assign recording licenses accordingly with the license that you purchased with the marketing team. We need to assign licenses on the server itself. Opening the multi-ingest server 1, where we have the decklink card with 8 input channel, you will have in here the license assigned. Since we are checking the license in a wrong way, in a current wrong way, we needed to add them on the client side. So each client will be able to run up 8 recording at the same time. In the nearest future, you will change. We will change because it will be done by the support team and especially by me. We will change this kind of management, so you will be able to use those servers with decklink board from each one of those client server. Let's see, however, how the system is working. It won't be much different from how it is configured currently. So you remember that from the Etere install application, I think we need still to remove credentials. This is happening because we firstly configured the system with NAS not in domain. Then we moved it into the domain, so we don't need anymore the local NAS user to connect. So we need to remove the credential saved before. So using this. I won't run any update because we don't need it, but I just need to show you again how services have been installed. Recording channel are based on services. Those are called service ingest, Etere ingest services, and we have one for each channel, input channel that we want to use. They are already running, and when we want to install them, we will select the related option on the updater, and we can choose the number of instances that we want to have installed in the server. For each service that we want to install, we can configure a logon credential, so a logon user, during the installation. It is strongly suggested to use a Windows-specific user with administration rights, so we can be sure that he can access all the registry key and all the paths that he will need for the recording operation. Otherwise, by default, you will see everything every time the logon configured as local system account. In this case, we used the current user for this server, and the installer performed the installation automatically. We have now 8 channels, and each one has been configured from the web application. We see yesterday how we can manage services. So let's go back to the web application. Can also save as favorite on the browser, because it will be used quite often if you want to change configurations. And again, from user preferences, we have in here the services settings, let's say application settings, but they are all related to services. We have the ingest, and in here we have the complete list of each server that has at least one service configured, installed, not configured. In this section, we are going to configure parameters for each service. So you can see that each service can be is reporting the communication port. So we have, of course, a different one for each server. And this is the 8th service for the multi-ingest 1, and here start services for the multi-ingest 2. On their configuration, we can see that we will need to apply an ingest ID for each service, and we can also set the option to let the system use this channel, this service, also for scheduled ingest operations. At the moment, we don't have any channel configured for the scheduled ingest, so for recording processes that must be planned daily. But it can be easily done in here, just assigning an ID for the channel. We have also a default cloud device and codec pair to be assigned to the recording service. Those are mostly used overall when we will use the scheduled ingest operations, because on the scheduled ingest we don't have any interface where we can select where the destination of the recording. Instead, using the client, multi-channel ingest client, that is the manual application, you can change anytime you want the destination. But by default, this is the pair that service will use. So if there is no other configuration applied on the application, it will use this pair. And in here we have the source section. we need to specify which is the input channel that the services is using. And then we have to select the correct video source format. In this case, we have this one with two channel as input, audio input. And if we want to control also a router with services, we will need to configure the device controller. For the moment, we don't have any. We tried some time ago to get those details for the routers, but then we moved to other jobs. So we just left the router configuration. If you need and if you want it, we will configure for sure later. And then the encoding section, it is related to provide the profile that we are going to use when we are recording. It means that the source video will be encoded with this specification. So we are going to create a NMXF file with MPEG-2 video format, 50 mega for the bitrate, and those are additional attribute like the 422 attribute and many other. We already tried, we tested this configuration, and the resulting media info, if I'm not wrong, it is correctly matching the customer needs. This is the resulting file. So we have a Nixdecam HD 422 with the format profile with high profile. And we can see the bitrate mode is constant with 50 megabyte. So for the moment, I think that we will be pretty confident with this format. And of course, all the channel currently have been configured with the same same attributes. Something that can be advised in this moment is that all the channel currently are recording with creating a file with the zero based. So every time the starting time code, it will be 0. Otherwise, we can change it and we can put it as depending on the source. So it will take the let's say the local time of the recording server. The starting time code, for example, in here, it is reporting like this. Time code of first frame, it is 0 based. All the channels have been configured with the same attribute, so you will have always the same resulting video from any of the ingest channels. When we save the configuration, it means that all of those settings are saved in the database. We have a table, of course, on the database that is retrieving all these details. And when we want to those attributes to be applied to the service that is running, we can use the apply and restart command. Of course, this the server where you opened the configuration must have a correct communication with the service. It is communicating with the UDP protocol. So it is suggestible, as we did during the configuration and as we are doing right now during the training, to open the web application on the server itself. So we are almost sure that we can connect to the local service. And those are the service. And when we apply and restart, the service itself will create automatically in the Etere local installation folder an XML for each channel. So this is how the system will load the configuration. We save the configuration in the database, then the service, when it's starting, retrieve the configuration from the database and create locally every time an XML to be double checked. And we can see in here we have all the details that we just put on the web application. Of course, it is reported with the XML format with tags. How we can control those services? This is what we have to do by the client. I will open the ingest client 1 as example. That is 23. We were already connected. And this is the application that we are going to use to connect to the server, the Etere multi-channel ingest client. So we will have a single window for each channel, for each services, sorry. You will see number 1, number 2, number 3, up to 8 channel for recording. And we can manage each one separately, independently from the other. This application needs the 64-bit logs to be enabled. So for this kind of application, if you have any problem or you feel that something is not working correctly, I just repeat this as a reminder. You will need to open the Etere configuration as administrator, open the configuration editor, logs section, logs management, and enable them to the 4th level, all verbosity, and giving a long window of time. In this way, we are enabling also the log for this application, and they will be quite useful in case of troubleshooting. We see that we have the status free on all of them. So this means that we are correctly communicating with the service running on the server. We have two different ways to start the recording. We can create an asset, just setting manually the code. I will call it training record. The title will be copied automatically when you click on the field, and then you can assign the type of the asset that we are going to create. You can assign the codec. So as I was saying just before, when on the configuration of the service, with this application we can specify every time which is the codec and which is the cloud device, so the destination of the meta file that we are going to ingest. And next time that we restart the application, it will load for this triplet the last configuration, so the last thing that we used. However, it is suggestible to keep using the default parameters, so we know that the default codec is MXF 422, and the cloud device is in multi-ingest 1. So we want this asset to be created, we use the create button. We can now select the source, the input on the ingest part. We have the SDI receiver, so it means that it is retrieving the SDI channel that is recording, that is configured, or at the NDI receiver. We will choose the SDI as it is the configured one, and we can open the communication so we can ask to the service to be ready to record. The opening status should change into running. It shouldn't take so long, so let me try just another one. Okay, this is opening. The first one is not opening. I'm not sure why, but we will check it later after the training. This is something that needs some troubleshooting. This one has been opened correctly. We have correct communication with the SDI channel 2, so with the second input on the video card, and we have also the preview. This preview is created by the service itself. It is an NDI source in this case. I just mentioning it because in order to have a correct and an improved management of NDI signals within the system, in every Etere servers and client, we installed the NDI tool applications, and we configured the access manager. It means that all the NDI flows, so all the NDI sources are depending on this discovering server. This one is the service that has been installed in the SQL machine, and it is exactly this one. The discovery service, it is an application that must be kept always opened in the SQL virtual machine. We are installing it in this server because we assume that SQL, since it is the main part of the Etere system, won't be never shut, and it shouldn't be ever touched. So we can be sure that the application, if there is no major failure of the server itself, will be always open. So it means, as you can see, if we will have more sources available, it will list also in here how many sources in NDI and how many PC are ready to use this the NDI signal. So back to the client. If we have this part misconfigured, we won't be able to see the preview in the client. By the way, this is just the preview of the signal that we are receiving on the decklink card. On the ingest part, we can assign in the option section a maximum duration of the file, for example, and we want that the record won't be longer than, for example, 5 minutes. We can set it here, the maximum duration. Otherwise, we can just keep using the application manually. So we go back to the preview and we can start the recording whenever we want. This is the button to start, and as soon as we press it, the status of the channel changed to running, and we see here the counter of the recorded media. Whenever we want, whenever we think that the recording can be stopped, we can use the stop button, and automatically the application load also the preview of what we recorded. We can play it, we can have the preview in here, we can move on the track with the track bar, and we can already set a sum and an iom, so a starting of message and an end of message. For example, if we notice that the starting point has some black because the signal was not ready yet, or whatever you want to set as a marking, you just need to use the device position from here, and it will set the marks on the related field. You can save the marks, so it will save them on the ADL that we see yesterday and the day before. And after previewing, this is just a short way and a fast way to have a preview. We can decide to confirm or discard the recording. Confirming the recording, we will start all the automatic processes based on the default workflow. So we will have the file stored in the local path and then moved somewhere else. Otherwise, it will be deleted. If we press discard or cancel, the video in the local folder will be deleted and the asset will be free again. This is recording directly in this path, and the default workflow was already working on it. Let's see the operation done by the workflow. Again, on media library, we can search for the latest asset created, so sorting by ID. So it is working, and soon it will perform all the operation on the file. The file has been recorded on the local path of the server, so in here. This one. And as you can see, it has been named as the code of the asset. As you remember, we can decide how to let the system decide to give file name based on code or based on ID or based on unique rule that we can assign. We can even set a linked record. So it means that we can prepare more than one channel. So let's try this, check linked one. So we create also rec linked to. And rec linked 3. We are opening the channels. We have signal only on those two, but that's not a problem. We can set them as linked, just enabling the rec linked button. And we will see that starting the first one, it will start all of them. This one tried to start, but we faced some trouble. This is the live issues that we can have. By the way, this is the idea. I will check later why it is not started also the channel 3, but they are working in sync. And if you stop it from the first one, it will stop all of them. And of course, you can see we will have different sources, different video recorded. Of course, this is a black video because we don't have any source. So we recorded simultaneously more than one signal. In the same way, you can move from on the preview for each one, assign the EDL on each one, and then save the configuration. This configuration will be specific for each asset that you recorded. I can save the rec linked one operations, but I want to discard the black recorded with the third. This client, this first client, currently is only communicating with the server 1. The other client, for example, the 24, This one will work exactly in the same way, connecting to the second server. Here we are, you can see in here the details for each channel is different as we are pointing to a different IP, server IP. Let's see if in here the service one it is opening. Yes. Okay, we have something incoming in the preview. We have on each server and on each client an additional tool that can be used for manual operations, and it is the toolbox player and toolbox writer. Those two applications can be used as debug applications or testing application in order to make sure that we are receiving, make sure we, better say, we can double check if that application is receiving correctly a signal and if it is able to create a file with specific format in a specific device. For example, we have the Toolbox Player application that is related to the player, as the name suggests. And from here, you can see already if the application load correctly the black magic in this case, so the video board. We have 8 output correctly seen, and you can add a file from any source folder and try to play it with a specific output format. In a similar way, we have also the writer tool that is related to the incoming signal, so with the video input. To use it, we need to stop the services because services are locking the video source. If I try to open the toolbox right now while the services are running, I will have an error. Yes, it's a warning that the SDI input is already in use, so we can't use it. Just trying to stop the first service, we can surely use the input from with the first channel. Not yet. We need to stop also the others. All the services are configured to be automatically run at the startup of the server. So user will never need to manually stop or start them while a normal usage of the system. So now we can see, we can double check every time the input that we are receiving on each SDI channel. If this application is working fine with any sources, it means that also the Etere application itself will be correctly working if configured correctly. So this is just an additional debug application to check performances and resulting file, because in here we can also set the audio. For example, here we set the video format and the audio format that we need. And we can try to ingest, so to record, creating a file following those formats that are available in the application. For each format, then we have also a lot of additional attributes that can be manually input in here, and any attribute that you can assign in here can be then added into any Etere profile, because this application is working exactly as any other Etere services. So just starting the capture, we can test if we also can reach correctly the destination path and if the file is saved correctly. Let me start back right now. All the services. We have also the Etere schedule broker running on the server. This will be used to manage scheduled ingest. So where we were planning in here, let me find the web. Oh, we closed it, so we can open in here. On the scheduled ingest, where we were seeing last time, all the scheduled ingest, planned ingest configured in here, we will need to use this application to let the recording to be started, as this is the broker. So all the requested scheduled ingest will be managed by this application. We don't have currently any service that can be used as scheduled ingest. We can modify just one to have a proper channel configured in the broker. Let's try to add the first one. So we assign also the scheduled properties to the first channel. We save the information on the database and we ask the service to be restarted. We should see on the services details that the first service should be already restarted. We can double check also the XML. But I think it has not been modified. Yes, it is still. We can modify also manually from here, just to save some time before for the training. Let's have a restart of the first channel. Okay, so we have the form also for the first single channel for the scheduled ingest. Normally, you will see a single channel for each service that has been configured for the scheduled operation. In this case, we configured manually only one, so we have only a first Windows. We can set in here a scheduled recording, so we can see it also on the broker. We will see here the list of all the operations that will be required. Again, also in here, the status is free as we correctly connected to the services. And we will have in here all the information that will be loaded as soon as the system find a new recording process. So let's call it test Internet ingest. We need to assign an asset for the scheduled ingest, so we can create a new one. We can give the type, the code, and the title. We can select the option also in here to choose to record with creating a file with zero-based or assign the time code in. That will be the same as the starting time. By default, we will record always in zero-based. And we can assign the schedule date. We want the recording to be started today in, let's say, in 2 minutes starting from here, with a duration of 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We will use the channel 1, so it is the first recording channel. And currently we don't have any router, so we can't change the sourcing input, and we save it like this. Now we should see on here updating the status. We see here the details of the next recording available. In 30 seconds, it should start. Well, I forced the recording to be quite soon. I don't know if we are going to be able to see it recorded correctly, as I forced as an urgent operation. By the way, it is trying to prepare in time. Okay, and we see it recording. We have the preview, we have the counter, so it is reporting that it already recorded 10 seconds and there left 1 second. And we have our 15 recording performed. In here, we don't have any preview or any additional operation as those are scheduled operation. So operator user will configure them and then let the system work. In case of errors, you will see error reported in here, and operator can clear the timeline of errors anytime. And here we have some logs, Windows for logs that can be useful for debug. Otherwise, the log will be always written in their folder as all the other application. Again, since this is a 60 4-bit application, we need to enable logs also for this application. Of course, we already enabled them for the server itself, so we will have already all the logs available for this application. Those are the logs for each ingest service, and under the scheduled broker, we will have also logs for the application. We have also logs for the multi-ingest server. And this is just an example of all the operation that can be done server by server and server by client. We can have a look also again on the latest file that we recorded. Also, after the scheduled ingest, we can see that the default workflow is not started because we didn't configure any default workflow for this specific operation. Administrator can change the default workflow whenever they want, creating a new version of the workflow and assign it to the related purpose. So the scheduled ingest Oh, it is missing right here because it is referring to a previous version of the scheduled ingest. I will show you where it was possible to put during the with the old version, and then I will advise our developing team to fix it. I need to find another ingest client. Okay, in here. This is the old, let's say, old application, the previous application that was working without services. So with the old structure of ingest. And we have a bunch of configuration that can be done in here for the scheduled ingest. And also we have some settings in here to be set. And here's exactly we have the configuration where we can set some additional workflows to be run after specific operation. And this is the section where we can set which workflow we have to start after the scheduled ingest. We will put again the after ingest workflow because it has been created to be general for all kind of ingest. Later on, based on the customer needs, or maybe if you will need some way to differentiate scheduled recording from manual recording, we can create many different versions of the workflow to be run by default. In this client, we should have also available the manual ingest without services, so without connecting to the server, since we have in here some additional Techlink card, we have for each client up to 4 recording channel. They have been configured in here, so they don't need any configuration on web. They've been configured only by desktop application, and we have for each channel a quite similar setup from the services, because we are of course using the same profile to create video, and we are loading it on the channel configuration section in here. We have just a different interface, but properties are exactly the same. Profile to create media will be exactly the same. Usually, to compare profiles, we can simply use the string, what we call recording string. So this string, so this bunch of configuration is exactly reporting all the details that we are providing to the channel to record a file. So when we want to compare some different recording channel, we just need to compare different string in this way. So we can realize immediately which are the differences and which are the attributes that must be changed or not. So this application can be used using the old version of the manual ingest. And we have basically 2 ways to perform the ingest. An easy ingest way, so we load a pre-configured setup. We will have in here only one input available and only one output for preview available. And we can create a new asset. All of those assets will be deleted after the training, so they won't bother anyone in the system, but we will just need to delete them. This is failed because maybe it is missing a configuration for this easy ingest. Let me check. I configured for sure for the multifunction because it most complete section. Now we have it. Let's try to use the toolbox as we were talking before. Okay, I guess that we still have the channel incorporated in the Blackmagic setup. There should be 4 channels. Yes, we have to always split them. Okay, so finally on the toolbox, we should see all of them, but not yet. No. Okay. Wow. Well, that's weird. I can't split the channels. I will need to check it later. Otherwise, we are going to lose time for the training. Let me just check on the other ingest channel. Is 2026. Let me have a restart of one server just to check it. Okay, well, actually, it seems that we needed a full restart of the server to finally have the channel split correctly. So now from this server, I can show you the other manual way to ingest. No, not from here because it is not installed on the main. We have it on here and here. Just please have some patience here. I don't understand why the deck link does not allow me to split channels. So, but we found the solution. So in few minutes we will have it fixed. Let's see. Okay. So back to where we were lost. This is the old way to use the application, and from this way we can manage the recording from each client. This application is not related to any license, so wherever you have an input card, you can use this application. Of course, it will need some base configuration, but it is out of licenses. Let me search for the last asset that we created. Okay, this one, this ingest. So it is loading now the configuration that have been applied on the related section that we will see soon. And it is loading the input and creating the preview of the input. If we have video in the input, we will see it in here. The easy ingest is allowed just to have some few operation. That's why it is called easy ingest, and we can only use a single input channel. We can set start time and duration of the video. We'll put 10 seconds, and just pressing the start, the recording button, it will start recording on the local path. We can stop it whenever we want, or we can leave it reaching the 10-second time that we configured. And in here, we will see a preview of the file that has been recorded. Those configuration can be done. We need to confirm or delete the operation as well. And we set no, because it is just recorded black. So we discard the recorded file and leave the asset empty. Those configuration can be done in here in settings section. Opening the easy ingest tab, we can load all the resources available for the recording role. And so we can assign an input channel on the main encoder field and assign a output channel on the main decoder field. This can be done just by drag and drop. This ingest, as we say, allow only one configuration for decoder and one configuration for encoder. The multifunction ingest instead allow multiple channels to be available as source, up to 3 channels. And you can even use them manually when you load an empty asset. Again, we can use one of the other assets that we left empty. As you can see in here, we have all the channel available in this machine. And the user can select the input channel that you want and drop into the destination section. In here, you have already a preview if there is a signal incoming on the input. And the operator can assign also in here the duration of the file and can start the recording. Also, in this case, it will search for the first available output channel to create the preview. So you can already see also these windows out on the monitor if you need to check it, the actual preview of the file. It is not playing any low-res file or any NDI source. It will load exactly the file that has been recorded. If we have a router configured, switching to the live option, we will see here a list of all the input channels that we can switch. So the input on the router will be connected to the actual input of the video server. I guess that we have a lot of information till now about the ingest on SDI sources. So let's have the break for 10 minutes. Everything is clear till now. I think that we are starting to get confused or annoyed.
So, Balo?
Yes, what do you think? I think that we can have a little break because we see a lot of information. Yes, sure. Tell me.
Previously, you said that there are two types of ingester. First one is easy ingester. Second one is multifunctional ingester. Am I correct?
Yes, easy ingest and multifunction. Yes.
Yes. So first one is easy ingest, right?
The last one.
Yeah,
no,
first
the
one
last,
is easy.
Yes, first one is easy ingest. So where you where the operator does not need to select any sources or any destination. The easy ingest configuration load what has been configured previously by administrator or by Etere team. So operator will always only need to select the empty asset to be used for the recording, for example, this one, and then the configuration will be loaded automatically. You will have already the channel prepared to record. There's no way to switch the resource, and there's no way to select which is the output. This is the main difference between the easy ingest and multifunction ingest. If we open again the multifunction ingest, searching for the same asset to be used, the operator will have a lot of options to be used, and no one will be automatically loaded because it will always need the operator to select the source.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
You're welcome. So see you in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just
got it.
having a little break. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back, guys. Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, okay. So let's have a short recap of the ingest ways. You are, let's say, plenty of way to ingest from SDI sources. You will have 8 inputs for each server of the multi-ingest 1 and 2 servers. So using the services, those servers can be managed from multiple clients. And from each client, you have additional 4 input channel, one for one each one. So you will have 32 inputs available. Also, ingest 1 and ingest 3 will be configured to use the ActiveSync application. So you have also 2 clients that are working for file-based ingest in automatic way. If there is no question about baseband ingest, so recording on the SDI, just let me mention this. Using this client application, or even using the ingest, the old ingest application, you can use this additional application in Etere that of course needs to be configured properly with the let me open in another server because need still to remove credentials in here. You can use this Etere remote control, Etere control panel, that will allow you to switch the router manually. So you will, after the proper configuration of the router, you will have a list of source and input and output sources. And so the user can switch manually the router, and the client can work with any kind of input available in the system. Otherwise, you are fixed to have 8 fixed input in the main in multi-ingest 1 and other 8 fixed input in the multi-channel ingest 2. Just to show you the control panel. Oh no, I used the wrong one. As I selected the wrong application, I to remove the application from the installation client, I just untick the application from the list. Then I will use the correct one. So once correctly configured with a proper router, you will have this panel back here that will list all the input channel and output channel. So the user can switch easily the router from this panel. This is available with almost any kind of routers, just one available in our system. So it can be used with any router. So we are fine with the ingest. If you don't have any question, we can move finally to the Nunzio section. So we are starting already to have a look on the newsroom applications. We have two different layout, and they are split in main and backup layout. And for each layout, we have a studio room configured. So it is like a studio can be managed as a single channel. Let's connect to the first main layout. The layout can be started using the Etere Nunzio player shortcut. Okay, this is the interface of the main first layout for Nunzio. We have this current configuration as a primary and two primary video. It means that all the story that we will create here below, so all the sequence of the media will be played switching from one primary and then to the primary B, then back to the primary A, so in a consecutive way. This configuration can be defined in the player setup. You have plenty of different way to configure the playout, so you can have up to 3 primary channels or 2 primary channels, 2 primary channels and 1 secondary view, and so on. Those configuration are based also to the decklink output available. In this case, we are using the output, the third and fourth output, physical output for playout with the normal format that we are working on. And in this section, we are configuring this Nunzio player to be connected to the control room Studio One. We don't have any available graphic device to add in here for the moment. And we can define in here some additional clocks or counter that can be available in the playout section here over the primary and primary B players. We will have in here on those players the preview of the story of the video that is in play. Here below, you will have the list of all the event that will be played by the player itself. By default, we don't keep empty elements. So if you have, let's say, stories without or segments without any video, they won't be skipped. And we have also the configuration for main and clone, master and clone settings. It means that we already configured a backup player on this IP. And those two servers, so 16 and 17, are communicating between them through the remote and local port 6000 and 6001. The switch can be done manually using the switch master and clone button, or it will be done automatic as soon as the clone does not see any communication with the main. As soon as I start also the clone one, we'll see that messages reported on both applications will be different from the current one. As soon as they start communicating between them, one became clone, one configured as clone will turn into clone status, and the one configured as master will turn into master status. Of course, all the commands on the clone playout are disabled. You can send a command only on the main one, and the main one will forward all the input to the clone one. The switch, the manual switch, is available on both of servers, so you can switch from one or the other. And as soon as they switch and they update their status, the first one that was master became clone, and the other one became master. Now you see that all the buttons are available in the other servers. If we want to control an additional device from here, we can set up the configuration, but we don't have anything available till now. So we can, and this layout will be managed manually from the operator, of course. We will load all the sequences that we need to put on air, and the operator will skip and start between each segment. Each segment is called a story, so operator will switch from a story to another one, to the subsequent one. We can create stories and rundown, so all the playlist to be played by the Nuncio player from all Nuncio client, from any of the Nuncio client. Or to have a faster view, I installed the client application also in the main server, so we can see it on the same one without switching from server to server. And this is the basic interface of the Nuncio client. In here we have also configuration part for the NCS servers and the NMOS device. We installed our server, so our newsroom server, in the Etere VM1 server. We can also install the backup one on the other SQL servers, so we are sure that those two servers won't be never shut, and the server NCS server will be always available. This server will manage all the communication, all the update status, all the command between most objects and most devices. Our most devices can be installed and configured in the most device section. We need to double click on each server, on each menu to open it. And here we are. We have in here just a temporary fake configuration for prompters, as during the configuration we were not sure if they can be used at the moment or not. Just the application disappeared for a moment. Oh, we lost connection with the desktop, with the server itself. Okay, I will try to use the other one because it seems more responsive as the 16. No, I don't have any. Let me see in here. Let's go to Annuncio client, an actual Annuncio client. I guess that the client is turned off.
101 and 21 only available.
Sorry?
101 and 21.
112.
101.
101, we don't have the client application installed. We have only for the low-res editor.
Okay. Wait for a while. Please, also 112.
But that's not a big problem. I will try to install also the client in here, so it should be faster. Okay, I installed just a temporary one in the VM1 server, so let's see if we can proceed introducing the Nuncio client. So we were on the main configurations. So in here on the settings, after configuring the NCS server, we can start adding the MOS devices. We have just the, as we were saying, the fake configuration for temporary prompters, because we were not sure to them to be used in the current configuration. By the way, when we want to add any MOS device, we will be asked to insert the following information: the MOS ID that must be provided from the third-party device, the description that we want to add to identify the device, the IP address of the remote machine, the port, so the port that must be used for the MOS communication, the protocol. This is depending on the third-party device, and which is the protocol support MOS protocol supported by the data device, and the device type. That can be, for the moment, a generic device, a prompter, a logo generator, or a multiplayer, or an editor. In this case, we have prompters available in the system. If the device allow it, we can put also the entry point to access the ActiveX functions and the HTML5 features as well. We have then some additional options in here. So we can disable and enable some of those options. And they are, for example, the send raw element action swap. We can disable to enable or disable this kind of message. We can enable or disable the MOS req or MOS rec machine info. So all the messages that must be enabled or disabled depending on the device. We have some additional platforms that can be configured so that we can use them for if we want to publish some information in those platforms. They will need their specific configuration. So for example, so for X, we need to give the site, the type, and the configuration settings, for example, related to consumer keys and consumer secret. Those are available only on the profile of the platform available, and so on. So you will have by Nuncio client a sort of automatic publishing on those platforms if you are needing them. We have then the section of rundown. We will see it later. Just let me mention the stuff sections. So in the stuff, we have nodes related to all the roles configured in the system, and for each roles we can assign a specific user. For this current configuration, we put all the nonlinear editors, so all the users assigned to the Nuncio client to be anchorman, approver, journalist, and redactor. But on the rights configuration in Etere settings, we can split them and assign the correct roles. This because depending on the roles, user will be asked to approve or to create or to check stories and services that can be created on the rundown. Having a look to an example of a rundown, we can create or a template that will be available within a period or in the template section of rundowns in here. If you have configured one, it will be available in here, or you can create a rundown, single rundown every time. Just having a look to a new rundown. When we create one, we can assign, well, we can select the channel for which we are working, but in this case, we are only one licensed channel. And we can load the template if we have one. So we can base this new rundown based on the template that we have. And we can assign a name to the rundown. Let's call it rundown live news. And this rundown, we want it to last 30 minutes, for example. Well, no, the duration it's in here, 30 minutes. We have then second and frames, and the starting time, so the scheduled starting time. We can put it at 5 in the afternoon. It is a completely empty rundown. We just have the description and the scheduled time and the scheduled duration, and we can start editing it by appending a segment. So we can create segment and placeholder for the following stories that will compose the rundown. So we can create a first 10-minute segment, and we want it to be composed by 3 placeholder. We can assign a type of the asset, and this is the initial first structure that we can give to our rundown. To be configured from first segment 1, we can add a new segment using the append segment. Again, adding 3 placeholder and giving an ideal duration. Those placeholder will be replaced by stories, by contents. So those are just only logical spaces that have been assigned. And we know that for the segment 1, we will have 3 different content to be managed by the news application. We can insert the story in the placeholder, and pressing the insert story, we will have the story search. All the story created in the system will be available in here. How to create a story? We have the related button and function, new story, or we can create also a template for all the stories. The story will be the actual content that will be managed by the player, by the playout. So it will include the messages sent to the prompter, will be included the all the description of the story, or so of the part that Anchorman will be requested to read, and also will contain all the media that will be played along with the information, with the news. We can create different categories and assign the category to the story. We can create the new story based on a template that we previously configured, and we can assign the name of the story. Here we can see to which operator can be assigned this kind of story with journalist roles and approver or redactor. Can assign this to the same operator for the moment. We can set also the status of the story. By default, all the stories that have been created are always not ready because they need to be managed, to be created, to be written, and they need to be double-checked and approved. So every time that a story is created, by default, it is not ready. And here below, when creating a story, we have the editor of the story. Since it has been assigned to a specific user, that specific user will be allowed to take it, modify it, and set it, save it, and set it as ready or not yet ready. And you will see this story available also in my story section of each user. We have this one. We can create a new one to assign to. We can't assign to any other operator because we can configure, as I said, roles in this part of Etere. On the rights editor section, permission section. So, for example, for the Nuncio clients, we set users with enable for those kind of roles: approver, anchorman, journalist, and redactor. I want also this user web one that we are using as a test to be anchorman, journalist, editor. So I will need to set those rights enabled for my group, for Etere web group. I will remove them after the training because it is not correct to have it. You see that this is written in red on the permission section because by default those rights are denied. So they must be enabled only for known users and known person in the system. Let me restart the application so we can load back rights and roles. Okay, sorry, I was talking without the microphone enabled. So I restarted the application after assigning the rights. So the user web that I'm using for the training is available to be assigned, and I'm creating a new story to test. I am signing to a journalist and the other was the anchorman, I believe. By the way, I am now allowed to edit the stories. And we have here now many available functions. The main ones related to text are those. So this heading style, it means we are giving a title to the stories. The following one, it will be a subtitling, subheading of the story, so it will have a different font and a different character. Sorry, subtitle can be misleading, so subheader of the story. Then we have the actual information that must be read by the anchorman, so all the news that must be reported. And then with the comment style, we are going to set something that will be sent to the prompter, for example. So it will be with red status. So this is how the user and who is creating the story will recognize text in the system. We also have a sort of timeline here in the left, and below we have a counter of the words and the talk duration. So the time that is supposed to be needed for the anchorman to read all those news. This kind of information can be set in the settings section. In here, we have, for example, the default words per minute that we have for all the users, for all the anchormen. So we are supposing that by an average person we can read 150 words per minute. Otherwise, if we have a different needs for each anchorman, we can set for each one a different values. So every time, depending on the user that is using the application and depending on the user that is assigned the story, the counter that we see below before will be different. We have also the autosave option and the auto recovery options related to the stories, so every 10 and every 2 minutes. And one important thing is also where the video will be stored. It means that when we are adding a video content, we can import directly on the story many video content, and they will be automatically moved or copied into the main archive folder, assigning them an unknown codec because we know that afterwards the full workflow will be started and all the media will be managed by the media info. all the story will be available in the story basket, and we will have a range date to search them, to edit them. And for example, for today, we have a range date from just that is including only today. We have two available stories. That is story training 1 and training story web. So the latest two story that I created. And we can see here the status. We can't change the status in here. We can create a new story from this story basket, or we can assign the story to specific users, for example, for the approver or to be edited. And we can open it. If we are allowed, we can edit again the story. We can then assign different style to the text, so bold or italic or underlined text, and this is available for all the text that we have in the system, in the story. We can increase or decrease the font size. Then we can add object. At the moment, we can assign, for example, a video. So from all the video that are available in the system, or we can create a new asset. If we create a new asset, then we will link the video to this asset. Otherwise, we can search for videos available in the system. So video search, we have already the video search section split in video search, secondary video search, live search, voiceover search. So let's say all the object that we can add in the story. And opening, for example, the video search, we will have on the right a video search tab that allows us sorry that I just lost the microphone for a moment. Okay. We have all the video available in the system. We can, for example, use this one that we used as a test before. And we drag and drop it wherever we want in the story. We can then move it. I just put it in a not useful place. Okay. And in here, you see that the green part is reporting the duration supposed of all the story with the video. Once the story has been completed, we can save. We will set it as ready. So on the rundown, it will be now. And search it. We can open for the rundown of today where we were working. We can add it on the rundown, and we can use the insert story or drag and drop story from the story basket. We have in here the story basket. We can move the view on the right. So let's refresh the status. Now we see that training story web is ready. So we put it in our placeholder. The placeholder won't be replaced. We can use the placeholder just as a reference. They won't be seen in the player, but user will use it as an actual reference for the story. So we have it ready, and we can set also the segment as approved. This will be done actually from the approver, of course, from the roles that has been configured as approver. So it means that this rundown can be assigned. Oops, sorry, I deleted the approvement. It is approved, can be assigned to a studio control room. We have up to 3 for the moment studios. We want it to be played from the studio 1. And if you want to start the communication with all the MOS objects, we enable the MOS control in the rundown. So it will start communication with the NCS server, and the playout will be able to load it on its schedule. Let's try to open again the player so I can show you how they will be shown in the player. Okay, we see, I'm not, okay, yes, the clone one was still running, so let's switch main and clone. Okay, we have the playout as master, and we have our first rundown available in the list. What the user will be asked to will need to do to play the or the event will be to enable the go to on air button. So we select the first story that we need to start, and we make the player ready to play the next story, and then we can start with play out next. We have a bunch of shortcut also can be configured in here for the play, pause, and previews, and skip, because users need to be quite responsive during the play out. We can start the play out. So in here, this is the video that will be played. If we have multiple stories, one after the other, multiple video, one after the other, they will be played automatically in both channels. The first story, as this one, will be loaded in the primary video, the following one in the primary B video, and so on. How to play those stories, we can check it on the story itself, on the list of media. We have the start type mode that can be manual, automatic, or in sync. So we can have also multiple video to be played together. So then the operator will switch between them manually from the router. Quite important section is also the log of rundown access, or we have also the log of story access. So you can create a report with this with all the operation that has been performed in the rundown or in the story. So you will be you always know which has been the user that worked on the story and then managed some replays or changes. These are the settings for just additional configuration for rundowns. We can configure an automatic restore workflow that will move media to a specific device available for the playout. Actually, the player is able to play file from any sources available in the system, and it is sorry, it is following the sorting of the codec depending of the option that has been set. That I need to wait for the application to be responsive again to show you. Here we have the codec priority, which the content will be played. So we can set the default codec T001 as the most important, but I will just stop communication between player and the Nuncio application as we during the training it is giving us a lot of delay. I need to put offer the story and the rundown. Okay. So you can change the codec priority just moving the codec within the list. We're going to assign the T001 as most important codec in the list. Okay. We remove the improvement. And user, however, can start creating stories for today or for next days, and they will be found them then in the related subfolder, as for example for rundowns. We have for tomorrow and past week sections, for examples, and as well for stories. Opening the users, we have today's story and story of the week. Rundown template have also an additional feature that can be set for available already for a period range. Sorry, I meant the story, not the rundown. But it's starting to be quite difficult to use the application, and is it stopping a lot of time. So I will need to double check this as soon as possible. By the way, as a first look into the Nunzio client application, I guess it is enough for the moment. We have been already, we are plenty of information for the moment. We can stop here if you agree, and let me know if you have any questions. So then later I will check the not responding status of the applications.
One question. The
Yes,
multi-inject.
yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, can
The multi-inject server. Local story for recorder file is commonly or no?
I'm sorry to say that I don't understand the question. Sorry. You are
multi-inject server. Local story for recorder file is commonly or no? Hello.
Yeah.
He asking in the multi-inject server, when we do the ingest, the file will be saved in the local storage or to the NAS. If in the save in the local storage, it is will be temporarily or move into the NAS. How does it work?
Okay. It is moved automatically from the local storage to the NAS. So it is always following this main workflow I will show you. It is not copied. It is completely moved. So it is cut and paste on the NAS.
Okay, cut and paste. Okay, understand. So there's no longer in the local storage.
Sorry?
Local machine. There's no longer can be seen in the local machine. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. From the main ingest servers and also for all the clients, all of them will be moved.
One more question. After sending the rundown to the playout server,
yeah.
At the time, when the Etere VM go down, the playout server can still running or not?
Etere bien cool down. Oh, ran down. Ran down.
I'm I'm sorry to say that I didn't understand the question again. You send the rundown to the player, and then what you asked about the player?
Yes. After sending the rundown to the player server,
Mm-hmm.
at the time, Etere VM go down. A player server can stay running or not.
I'm not getting the last part of the question. I'm sorry.
Yes, follow, please. I was want to ask this, if the core servers is shut down
Mm-hmm.
during the player server, so I mean the core server is shut down. So this is the because the replication take just a minute. All right.
Well, you are talking about the server for the playout, so the main server that where we have the player, or the core server where we have the SQL, because they are two different situations. If we have a failure of this main player, so called it playout one main, it will switch automatically to the backup, so to playout one backup in a few seconds. So you won't lose anything, almost anything in the playout.
Instead,
yeah.
I mean the failures in the code.
In the core, so you mean in the SQL server?
Yes, SQL or the web server.
Okay, if the core server fail, you will also have a failure on the Nuncio client server. So yes, it will take some time to restore the replication on the other core server. During this time, you won't have any communication between the player and the Nuncio server, so the Nuncio newsroom server. So you could have the player still playing the file because the player is not connected to the database and not connected to any other service. But if you apply some changes during the failure, the player won't be updated. So you only will have the video that is currently playing. The sequence you will have, but you can't apply any other changes between the stories and the rundowns. As soon as the replica is being restored on the other core, you will be everything up again without performing any operation.
One more.
Yeah.
For the playout, we have the main and backend operation. If main is failure, that will be switched to the backend automatically.
Yes.
Or we have to change manually because I just only see the menu option.
It will be automatically. It will just need the time, a few seconds, that main and backup realized that one of them is failing. So it will be, then the switch will be automatically.
Okay. So that means that you are putting the manual switching function for the emergency case. If that's not changed automatically, we have to go to the backend server and then we have to click manual button. Am I right?
Yes. You can force if the automatic procedure is not working for some reason, you can force the switch between main and backup using the button. I used the button just as an example, as a manual example, because maybe you want to switch also for other reasons that are not major failure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if you don't have any further doubt for the moment, I will be happy to continue with some additional configuration in the system because I realized that something is still missing. And if you are available, I would like to ask to someone of you that helped me last week with the configuration to be available in the Skype so we can have some chat if in case I need any information from your side. What do you think?
We are ready. That's great. We're happy to have you.
Okay, so I'm stopping for the moment the training. I will provide the recording
Can you
session.
hear? That's what I'm saying. Can you hear?
Sorry, no, I
Hello?
didn't hear you.
Yeah. Just now I'm talking to you. We are ready to have you.
Okay. But I will stop the recording and the training because it is not related to the training. I will provide you soon the video, and then I will chat through Skype. Is okay?
Okay. I didn't get it. What you're saying? Could you come get it? Yeah. So you want to do configuration by yourself, right?
Yes, I will. I have some additional checks because I need to check why the
Yes,
system is
yes.
quite slow. So I need to
Okay.
check something, and I won't take you in the session for the whole time. You can follow me in the any desk whenever you want, but I will close the Teams, and if needed, we can chat on Skype
So
as we've been doing last week.
or last week. Next week or last week? This week or? Okay. So what are you going to do? Hello?
Yeah.
When are you going to do?
What I want to do or when I want to do? Sorry.
When you want to double check the system?
Well, as soon as we complete the training, and then I will perform some operation on the system. So let's say in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. We gonna wait.
Okay. Thank you.